For 38 years, he lay beside the pool, watching hope ripple across the water. Hope that never reached him. The Pool of Bethesda, known for its healing powers, was a place of expectation. At certain times, an angel was said to descend and stir the waters, and the first person to enter would be healed. But for nearly 4 decades, he remained unmoved, trapped in the same condition that had brought him there. But why was he ignored for so long? Why did no one help him? And what made this day different from the rest? Stay with this story until the end to uncover the truth behind his long suffering and the powerful lesson hidden within his healing. The Pool of Bethesda was in Jerusalem, near the Sheep Gate, a place buzzing with people coming and going. The pool had 5 covered colonnades, sheltering the sick, blind, and paralyzed who lay there day after day, waiting for their moment. Some had family, others relied on friends or strangers to carry them into the waters. But the competition was fierce, every man for himself. In a city filled with religious devotion, the temple stood nearby, yet no priest came to offer help. The pool, for many, was their last hope in a world where the weak were often ignored. In Jewish culture, physical suffering was sometimes linked to sin, and the disabled were often marginalized. Those with resources had people to help them. But for a man who had suffered for 38 years, it seemed he had no such advantage. Perhaps his family had abandoned him, or he had been too poor to pay for assistance. Or maybe after so many years, people simply stopped noticing him. A man forgotten. The years had drained his strength and dulled his hope. He had tried. Oh, how he had tried! He had inched forward, fought to be first, pleaded with others to help. But every time the water stirred, someone else went in before him. His body was weak, but the weight of disappointment was heavier. He was there, but not really living, just existing, just waiting, stuck between longing and despair. He had no name in the records, just a condition. No family mentioned, no friends recorded. Only his suffering identified him. Then one day, everything changed. The unexpected question. A man stood before him, different from the others. This man did not look at the water, but directly into his eyes. There was no pity in his gaze, only authority and compassion. Do you want to be made well? The question stung. Of course, he wanted to be healed. Hadn't he spent a lifetime waiting for it? But his response was revealing. Sir, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me. He did not answer with a yes. Instead, he explained why healing had always been out of reach. His mind was still locked in the old way of thinking, believing healing could only come through the pool. He saw his limitations, his lack of help, his failures. But he did not see who was standing before him. Then came the command. Get up, pick up your mat and walk. It was not a suggestion. It was an order, spoken with an authority that defied the years of weakness in his bones. And in an instant, strength surged into his legs. Muscles that had not worked in decades suddenly obeyed. He stood. He walked. He carried the mat that had carried him for so long. The greater healing. It was the Sabbath, and religious leaders were quick to criticize him for carrying his mat, missing the miracle before their eyes. When they questioned him, he did not even know the name of the man who healed him. But later, Jesus found him again in the temple and said, See, you are well again. Stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. The healing was not just physical, it was spiritual. His body was restored, but his soul needed redemption too. Jesus had given him a new life, and now it was up to him to live differently. The lesson, the true healer. For 38 years, the man had been waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right person to help him into the pool. But healing did not come from the water. It came from Jesus, who bypassed the pool altogether and spoke life directly into his brokenness. How often do we wait for the right conditions before believing things can change? How many times do we stay trapped in hopelessness because we think help must come in a certain way? This story teaches us that healing, change, and breakthrough do not always come as we expect. Sometimes they come when we least expect them, from the one who sees us even when the world has forgotten. Do you want to be made well? The answer is not in the pool. It is in the one who calls us to rise.